now the wind's blowing. There's the paddle book. That's so cool. I can't even get excited. We've been destroyed so many times. Imagine a life where all your hopes and dreams come true.
Heck of a bow, man.
Oh. Where somehow you find your way. Oh my gosh, there he is.
If it was only that easy, but something so glorious could never come for free.
It takes sacrifice and determination.
I say that life is too short not to do what you love every single day.
And I say it's too short not to spend it with the one you love. We're Cody and Kelsey Robbins.
And we live to hunt. Kelsey just shot a buck for a bow boat. I was like, I couldn't see him. Give me the crossbow, I'll shoot him.
Awesome buck.
Nice. What a beauty.
Sorry.
Look at this. Look how big he is. How exciting was that? How exciting was that?
Live to Hunt with Cody and Kelsey Robbins.
You guys, how often are we sitting out doing something in the evening, sitting in a bush on opening day of archery? And we have no bows.
Not very.
Not very often.
But this is a good cause.
Yeah. Kelsey and my friend Jeremy and I were set up on the edge of a hayfield, hoping to learn more about a particular buck we had 3 years history with. A gorgeous old non-typical with tons of mass and character. There's the paddle book. That's so cool. We just watched the paddle buck come out and jump the fence. Exactly what we wanted to see him do. So the next step is building a blind tomorrow morning, and then tomorrow evening if the wind lets us. We sneak in and wait for him to come back out and do the same thing he just did. Setting up for the paddle buck was a glorious opportunity, but thinking back to the year previous, when I was after the greatest buck in Live to Hunt history, my hunting partners were there for me. They had my back, putting their archery season on hold to help glass, film, and most importantly, they were the glue that held my emotions together when I wasn't capable of doing so myself. Because of their support, this hunt turned into and will probably always be the greatest accomplishment in my hunting career.
Oh, Cody. Like, holy Cody.
Holy, his forks, Shady's unbelievable. If it wasn't for my friends, I wouldn't be where I am today. And for that reason, the paddle buck was gonna have to wait for the simple fact, it just wasn't my turn. Oh my goodness. Shaner. What a gorgeous buck!
Gosh, there he is. There he is.
After 4 years and hundreds of stalks. How far was he?
7 yards, 6 yards.
7 yards.
Nice.
What a beauty! It was 17 days before I could return to the paddle buck's home country. And just as I predicted, the window of opportunity had passed, and he was now missing in action. We want to go try for the paddle buck. He's already a really tough animal to hunt because he's a flat country muley. He lives in flat, thick stuff. You can't pattern big muley bucks. I mean, you can't spot them bed down. There's no dice to roll, it seems, but you gotta try and create something. I had no idea if the buck was still in the same spot and just nocturnal, or if he had moved altogether. The only way to find out was to start from scratch and put in time. Because the country is so flat, I put in tripod stands for better vantages. I hung stealth cams on every game trail I could find. After a week with no leads, I started driving to cover more ground. Close by, a totally different buck. He's got to jump out the right side instead of the left. Getting well into October, There's no way I could justify spending more time on a ghost.
Nothing. No paddle buck.
I waved goodbye to the flatlands and the paddlebuck and headed for uncharted territory, to a land that I had never hunted, for bucks that I knew nothing about.
Live to Hunt with Cody and Kelsey is brought to you by Rage, leading the evolution in lethal technology. 10-point crossbows, there is no substitute. Bowtech and Squincher. This portion of Live to Hunt is brought to you by Prophet River Firearms, your source for the finest firearms.
Look at the body difference. Look at the body difference, oh my goodness. My cameraman Anthony and I spotted a big buck bedded, laying in the wide open, only 20 yards away from heavy cover. Fighting the late season dry, crunchy conditions, this opportunity was a gift from above. I waited only 20 yards away from this buck for hours, waiting for him to stand on his own. I was 19 yards away from that typical buck. And to get here, I took my muck boots off and I stepped on about 4 different cactuses. I have them stuck in my thumbs and my hands, but I thought it was all worth it. I thought I was gonna get him. And just out of nowhere, he just blew out of his bed, so the wind swirled. It wasn't very steady, but nice deer though. Oh, beautiful deer. I don't recommend taking your shoes off in this country. A mile away, 3 big bucks and a strip of buckbrush. Doesn't matter what I say to tell you how big that deer is, you can't tell in the footage. But that buck in the grass above that finger is enormous. He's huge, 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 huge. Once the giant old buck rolled over the bench with his partner, Anthony and I moved in hoping to catch up to him, hopefully spotting him in a good spot for a stalk. I can't say that I deserved the chance at such an awesome buck without having any history with him, but I wasn't about to walk away from it either. It was showtime. Stormy weather had blown in, making it easy to close the distance. "10 minutes into waiting, the big guy's wingman stood up and walked straight at us before veering only 12 yards away, pinning us flat to the ground. At the same time, the big typical packed up and headed straight away for heavier cover, vanishing for the day. Once again, a glorious opportunity faded to nothing in seconds.
more bucks bedded in a great spot. They're sound asleep right now. The leaves are crunchy. It's going to be really hard to get to that bush. But if we get to that bush, a blind fella couldn't screw it up. So we gotta try.
Pushing farther into October, every stalk we made I was feeling more guilty. We had other hunts that we could be doing that had higher odds at this time of year, and I was set on a big mule deer with my bow. Every stalk that went south, I would think to myself, maybe the next one. A decision that was based on my best interest and not the business or the show. But with big muleys being my ultimate passion, I couldn't bring myself to walk away.
This portion of Live to Hunt is brought to you by Sugar Creek Taxidermy, award-winning design.
It would be scary to even think how many miles Anthony and I put on in rough country. And no matter how many swings we got, we just couldn't connect.
We were watching a buck. He walked up to the top of a hill and laid down. He's got us completely pinned. And we're in a bowl. We're in the lowest part of the bowl. We can't do anything. This is a good time for me to demonstrate my reverse native grass doggy paddle. Here we go. He's 55 yards away. He's walking away too. We got here 10 minutes too late.
My feet are infected with slivers. Hands. My pride.
We have the giant buck bedded down. I'm so battered and beat up that I can't even get excited. We've been destroyed so many times.
I was to the point where I was completely psyched out, making mistakes that I hadn't made since I was 15 years old. And once I had made them, I would plead ignorant, stare up at the sky and ask why. This here is the last time we saw the giant typical buck.
Last morning that we have to hunt. Beat up, bad, tired, feet are sore, got slivers. Time to hit the hills.
Watching the sun peek over the horizon, I got thinking. I had taken a nice muley buck of some sort every single year since I was old enough to buy a hunting license, and that streak was coming to an end. Far off in the distance, we spotted the big typical buck's sidekick from the first day, but he was alone, so we continued on.
We have a really nice buck bedded down in an old deadfall poplar plum. And we don't have barely any wind. We just gotta pray that it doesn't swirl, die down. But we're gonna try our very best to get it on him. I am so drained, I'm so tired.
Breaking within 50 yards of the bluff the big buck was bedded in, a spiker stood up only 20 yards away. We were totally busted.
We're either the greatest hunters on earth or the luckiest. And I know which one it is. He licked his lips for a bit and then walked around through the trees past the big one, up the hill, and forgave us. Wow. It's showtime now, the wind's blowing.
Live to Hunt with Cody and Kelsey is brought to you by Mossy Oak. It's not a passion, it's an obsession. Stealth Cam ZX7 series, the game has changed. Heater bodysuit, you stay warm or your money back. Block targets and Vortex. Thompson Center and Black Eagle arrows.
I've never been so slow and careful on a stalk in my life. The wind would die off to nothing, freezing us in awkward positions for minutes at a time. Yeah! I drilled him, Tone. I drilled him. I drilled him. Come on. He's right here. That was one of the toughest stalks we've ever made. It was 4 hours to get where we were. Tone. Good job, bud. That's awesome. I know. That's my first muley with my Bowtech. What a thrill. A monster muley buck with the classic hooks out the side. Look at this. Look at this. Oh, he's gorgeous. To walk up to a mule deer buck like this with the classic hooks out the side, big typical frame, chocolate antlers. There's only one thing that breaks my heart, and his brow tine is broke off on the one side, and he's got a gorgeous twisted brow tine on the other side, which makes you think he probably had the same thing over here. And that cuts a little bit. Split main beam on the end, beautiful big forks, the start of a hook on the left, big hook on the right. My very first muley buck with the BOWTech bow. I'm so exhausted and overwhelmed and overjoyed and happy. I'm lost for words. But an absolutely gorgeous mule deer buck here in Saskatchewan, chocolate horns, middle of October. I don't know if I'm ever going to wait again for October to come. I think next year, opening day of archery on September 1st, I'm going to push everybody out of the way and get on them, because this was a real test. Fantastic hunt.
Join Cody and Kelsey on Facebook for live updates and in-field photos from the Live to Hunt team. Go to live2hunt.com to order the latest in Live to Hunt apparel, DVDs, and other merchandise. Next week's previews are brought to you by Squincher, hydration that works.
Next week, Kelsey and I are headed to New Mexico to hunt the elk migration in early November. A hunt like I have never seen. Hundreds of elk swarming past in droves. The intensity and the mental challenge that this hunt turns into will blow your mind. Who would ever think that too many animals would be such a problem? One of us goes home on cloud 9, the other heartbroken. See you then.